Hello, and welcome once again to our household and the kitchen. Lovely, bright place. So it's quite easy to record in here. Some parts of the house, not so easy. Um, uh, Bless you and thank you for staying with us. Lent, 40 days of change. And today is day 14. It's Thursday, the 4th of March. So you might be watching this at some other time, but I hope that you're managing to stay with us daily through this. Many years ago, as a family, we were travelling from Glasgow down to England. And midway through, our car gave up on us. Unfortunately, it was in a fairly remote part of the A66. If you know that, you'll know what it's like. And so we had to wait for a long time for the rescue company. I forget who it was. It might have been Green Flag then, or the AA. But we had to wait quite a long time, over an hour, before they came to rescue us. And then began a whole series of journeys because no way they could get the car going, and we had to be ferried from one vehicle to another, and eventually got back to Glasgow. It was a long day. We were tired. The family of four, we were kind of, all our plans were shot because we were going down to stay for several days and to actually help out as well. It was spring harvest, and we were going to help and be involved in spring harvest and in the program there that was going on. So I'd never been to it before, and I eventually did get to it another year. So we had to go back. It was a long day, and all our plans were scuppered, but we'd been rescued, and that was great. When we were in trouble, we were so extremely grateful to be taken home and not to be stuck on the A66 in the middle of nowhere. The greatest rescue act of all, of course, is planned and executed by God, and that's to rescue us from sin. Now, I want to talk over the next few days about salvation, salvation by grace. And so, if you like, this is Salvation 1.0. Let me read you from Ephesians 2, in the first couple of verses. Once you were dead because of your disobedience and your many sins. You used to live in sin just like the rest of the world, obeying the devil, the commander of the powers of the unseen world. He is the spirit at work in the hearts of those who refuse to obey God. God rescued us from the dark place that we were in. He rescued us from death, from sin, from a despotic, tyrannical ruler. He freed us from the injustice and suffering of this dystopian world. Think about that. Think about what it is to be rescued. A loving, merciful God intervened. And so this plan of his, this plan involved the very sacrifice of his son. The RAC, the AA, Green Flag, or whoever require you to pay them. They don't just come out, because they're just nice people. And they generally are nice people who like helping, but they get paid. This plan was in spite of the fact that we didn't ask God for help. Verse 5 tells us that we were dead in our sin. Now, I've been around, sadly, over the years through dead people, and the dead don't do anything. They don't seem to know anything. In this state, we're unaware of our needs, and we're unable to help ourselves. But God comes to rescue us. We can't even ask him for help because we didn't know. We're not able. We're just totally out of it. But God saw us and came to rescue us. Instead of the punishment of our deeds, of our actions, of what we've done, instead of getting what we deserved, we got what we didn't deserve, what we don't merit. what we haven't earned and don't have any right to. The Bible paints this as the ultimate act of grace, God's undeserved favour that gives us new life. John writes this in John 3:17, follows on from the best known verse in the Bible, but actually this verse I almost love more, because it says, God sent his Son into the world not to judge the world. Wow, that would have been so easy. That's so easy. What do? How many times do we judge people? What do we do? My football team's not doing very well, so I don't think very much of the manager and the way it's run, And if you go onto social media websites or talk to people, not many people have got anything good to say. And that's just something in many ways doesn't matter. But we are quick to judge. God sent his Son into the world not to judge the world, but to save the world through him. That's the act of God. Many people avoid God or don't want to come to God because they think God's a God of judgment and of vengeance, and God's looking at them to find fault in them. That's totally wrong. It's the complete and absolute opposite. We should run to God and not run away from God. God is the only one who's going to take us in. He's the only one who's going to take us warts and all, and as we are, and loves us and cares for us as we are. It's so easy to think about how unfortunate we are, especially in these times of pandemic. People are going on about it all the time. But over the next few days, I would like us to consider God's grace. And if we do, I believe it will change our attitudes to life, our attitudes to this world, our attitudes to others, and more than anything, it will change our attitude and our relationship to the Lord himself. God bless you. Have a great day, and please catch up.